Hi guys, to another episode of Dimitra Dishes. Today we're making Greek-style lentil soup in the Instant Pot. If you have a pressure cooker that's not an Instant Pot, that works too. Just follow your machine's instructions so that way you can make these recipes. It's going to be pretty much the same thing because I'm going to be using the pressure cooker function most of the time, except for when I'm sautéing vegetables in the beginning, and you can do that on the stovetop with your pressure cooker. But I have the 8-quart Instant Pot, and I got it last year actually. I think I got it in August. And I had this whole plan, how I'm going to share all these recipes with you guys. But honestly, I was so intimidated by it. I didn't feel like reading the instructions. So I had it tucked away for a few months before I took it out and finally started using it. And I really love it now. When I first started using it, I'm going to tell you the truth, I hated it. I burnt a few things and just things went wrong left and right. But now that I learned how to use it, I'm going to share recipes with you with my most popular recipes on here on how to make them in the Instant Pot because it does make life so much easier. Especially for me because my stovetop malfunctions now and it randomly cooks on high and burns my food and I hate that. So I try to make as much as I can in here. Today we're making the lentil soup, which is super easy to make. Let's get started. So this is the same recipe that I have for my regular lentil soup. This is an onion that I finely chopped. It's a larger onion, so if you have a smaller onion, that'll probably be better. 1 celery stalk that I've diced and also 2 carrots that I've peeled and diced. I have 3 cloves of garlic. I'm going to finely chop those. I'm not going to finely chop those. I'm just going to slice them in a little bit. And 3 bay leaves. There are more ingredients. I don't know why I went over these without going over everything, but we're going to start off by putting the onion, the celery, and the carrots in the Instant Pot. So I'm going to pour in about 1/4 cup. You could put more of olive oil. Probably will put a little bit more. And a little pinch of salt. I'm going to hit the saute button on this and let these cook for about 10 minutes or maybe 8 to 10 minutes or until they're nice and soft and golden. Okay, so after about 10 minutes, the veggies should be ready. I went ahead and I roughly chopped the garlic cloves. If your family doesn't like to see garlic in their food, sometimes some of my kids don't like it, then you can just add some minced garlic. And if you're adding minced garlic, it just warms through in a few seconds. If you're adding the bigger chunks of garlic like this, go ahead and saute it for about 2 minutes. So the veggies are nice and soft. All in all, to cook the veggies and the garlic took about 15 minutes. So we're going to count to see how long it takes to make it in here. The best thing to do when you're adding lentils is to soak them overnight in some cool water. I didn't have time to do that, so what I did was I just rinsed them really well a few times with some cool water, and then I soaked them while I was preparing everything. Sometimes you gotta just do what you gotta do. I'm not always that well prepared, and I am using green lentils today because that's what I had on hand. You could use French lentils for this. They're a little bit smaller, more delicate. They don't melt as easy as these green lentils do. Go ahead and add them to the pot with 8 cups of water. You can use vegetable broth if you prefer that. You can use chicken broth too if you're not keeping this vegetarian. Then go ahead and add 15 ounces of crushed tomatoes. I like to pass mine through the blender and puree them until they're nice and smooth. I'm going to add a little pinch of crushed red pepper flakes for heat. Leave it out if you don't like it. We're going to put some salt, freshly cracked black pepper, and the 3 bay leaves. Give everything a nice mix. I'm going to put the lid on and secure it, and I'm going to put the vent to seal so that way it stays nice and tight and pressurized. And I'm going to pressure cook this on high for 10 minutes. Keep in mind that if you're using the Instant Pot, it does take a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes for the machine to actually come up to pressure. So it is going to take a little bit longer, but it does count down and tell you exactly how much time is left. Once it's done pressure cooking, then you're going to let it sit in here for 10 minutes to naturally release the pressure slowly. Then whatever pressure is left, you're going to go ahead and turn the valve that's on top onto vent and release all the rest of the steam. Then we're going to move on to the next step. So the soup is ready. Once it's done and the pressure has been released and everything, you can go ahead and take the lid off, taste the seasoning, and see if it needs a little bit more salt or pepper. And then I like to add a heaping teaspoon of oregano. Dried oregano is my favorite thing to add to this. Fresh oregano is a little too strong. And then I also like to finely chop some parsley and sprinkle that on top too. Give it a nice mix and it's ready to serve. I also like to drizzle some apple cider vinegar in here. You can use red wine vinegar or your favorite vinegar. And I drizzle a little bit of olive oil for some freshness. Serve this with some bread, feta cheese, and olives. It all goes so good together. Time to take a taste. Comforting, flavorful, so healthy and delicious. You can make a double batch of this because this freezes beautifully. Once it cools down, put it in freezer-safe containers and store it in there. It'll stay fresh for months. It's great to have things like this in your freezer for those busy days when you don't have time to cook. If you want to learn how to make more Greek-style Instant Pot recipes, go ahead and click over here. If you want to get the exact measurements for this recipe, they're on the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes,